Okay. Here we go. All right. Hi. How is everyone? So it's kind of an interesting, it's an interesting paradigm to kind of come to a public space and sort of really take it over. And I'm so grateful, first of all, to Rebecca Wicker, who is the owner of Dedicated, I basically just reached out on a whim and said, can I just use your space on Sunday? She said, absolutely, have at it. And so I want to say thank you to Rebecca and Dedicated and everybody who's here, for letting us come and be here today. I want to say hello to people who are online. I'm trusting and hoping that you're able to hear okay because it's a different paradigm, and we're just going to go for it, right? So this is Tucson New Thought. We are a spiritual community. We come together with a vision in mind, and that vision is to create a world that works for everyone. That's really important to me, creating a world that works for everyone, and that means everyone. And I think that this is a doable thing for each and every one of us, as long as we commit ourselves in mind and heart and spirit to that ideal. Our mission here is to provide practical tools for personal transformation and awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And so what I have to tell you, each and every one of you, is you are magnificent. Not because of anything you do in the world, but just because of who you are. And I think that's really an important message that we all need to hear, especially in such contentious world that we're experiencing right now. I think it's really important that we hear that we are all of us perfect, whole, and complete just as we are. There's nothing we need to do to make that any more true. We value community, and I'm so grateful that we're meeting as a community in person again. This has been a long time coming, and there's going to be a little bit of let me tell you sort of what has happened over the last 3 months since we last met as a community, and then went virtual as I was looking for a space. So this complex here, the Midway Business Plaza, has a lot of available space, and this is actually where I thought I was going to have a full-time space because the prices seemed really right. What I was looking at in terms of just getting a Sunday space would have cost as much as having a full-time space in here. And what ended up happening is just some of the circumstances around the deal did not work out the way that I wanted them to. And when it kind of fell through, I felt that sense of relief. And I was like, oh, well, there's a big answer to a question I wasn't even asking. Is if I'm feeling relief here, then I need to really listen to that and trust that this was not the right path at this time. And so that all fell away. I continued the virtual thing and went ahead and started to look at other options. So this is our option that we're living with today. And I don't know where we'll be next week, but we're here today. We value community, diversity, and creativity. Absolutely value creativity. And anyone at any point in their spiritual path is welcome to join us. It's funny because there were people who were here who were not here for the celebration of the service. And I imagine that people may walk in and order their coffee and have their experience of, being in Dedicated. And what I say is there are no mistakes. Everybody is at the right place at the right time, whether they know it or not. And so, somebody walks in the door and doesn't even know that he's walking into this experience. But everyone is always in the right place at the right time. And we will just continue on. So what I want to start with today is a little centering. And so what I'm going to invite each and every one of us to do is to close your eyes and just relax. And, there's going to be a lot of noise, and that's okay. Allowing ourselves to be with what is one of the most important things we can ever do. And so we don't try to change what is. We just allow ourselves to be with what is. So simply relaxing into this moment, allowing the focus to fall to our breathing. Just breathe. Simply relaxing into the easy rhythm of our breath. There is nothing we need to do. except allow. Just recognize the breath is easily falling in and out. We don't have to make it happen. It just happens. Deepening into that awareness of it happening. With each inhale and exhale, the body becomes more relaxed. Simply inhale and exhale. In and out. In and out. And then coming into the awareness that perhaps each and every one of us is seeking something. We are seeking love, light, peace, power, beauty, joy, wisdom. That which we are seeking is causing us to seek. There is absolutely no separation. So we allow it. Breathing in the love. Recognizing that we fill this space with love. We share this space in love. This entire room is immersed in love. So as we continue, we breathe in and out this love. names, huh? Nadia, Stefanik, and Olivia, Avanzato. Collectively known as ViaDia. So in New Thought, one of the things that I like to honor is the fact that we're not... Ernest Holmes put it this way. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, which is one of the branches of New Thought, he wrote this: science of mind does not necessarily create a new religion. It can be added to any spiritual system of thought, and it is a complement to all. And so one of the things that I love to do is to do a ceremony called Lighting the Flames of Faith, which is honoring the world faith traditions and the various religions of the world. And so, Olivia is going to light some candles and actually try and, I don't know if they'll be able to see very well online, but let's light a candle first for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. Lighting a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling, and the will of God is love and happiness. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And through this, we also honor all of those who are yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space that we hold for them right here and right now, and for all faith traditions not named in this ceremony. We represent the healing of any circumstance that requires divinity to be revealed, for that is true healing. Thank you. So we will leave our candles lit. One of my great joys has been to work with these two beautiful women as they have provided music basically from day one. And I'm going to angle that again so people online can see. What they bring to this experience is so, it warms my heart so much. And they have, they've gone through it with me being in person and then being online, and they've been so open to whatever this looks like and just being of service. And so I'm grateful to you. They have a great song to offer. Yes, let's. They have a great song to offer, and it was written by the beautiful woman who actually connected us, a woman named Amy Steinberg. Amy Steinberg is the music director at the Universal Spirit Center in San Diego, California. And we were individually connected on Facebook to Amy, and then they put out a call saying, we're in Tucson, we're looking for a spiritual community. And I was still in LA and knew that I was coming to Tucson. This was about 2 weeks before I came, and Amy tagged me in that post, and I wrote back and I said, I'm on my way. So they have a great song to offer us today. So, ViaDia.
I've been held back. I've been imprisoned by thoughts of fear and lack. I have had anger. I have These are the bricks on which my life's been built. But I'm free to turn it around. I am free to turn it around. We're all free to turn it around. Freedom comes and I'm looking down. I get so tired of looking down.
And attracted to negative thoughts. I get so distracted. I get so distraught. But I am responsible for my own life. I gotta lift my chin up and look to the light. Ooh, 'cause I'm free to turn it around. Yes, I'm free to turn it around. We're all free to turn around. Feel like upside looking down. I get so tired of looking down.
I am free to turn it around. We're all free to turn it around. Looking down. Woo.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. So great. What's the first lyric of the first verse?
I've been in bondage. I've been held back.
I've been in bondage. I've been held back. Oh, how many of us have ever felt that way? Nobody in this room, right? No. We're all spiritually minded, and none of us have ever felt trapped or in bondage. Ever. Today's kind of message is based on a quote, one of my favorite quotes. So in the Science of Mind book, the first 4 parts of the introduction are the entire philosophy in 27 pages. And in the very first part of it, Ernest Holmes wrote this. And this has been a guiding quote for me my entire life, which it sort of is, but I didn't really discover this quote until I was in the Science of Mind or in New Thought, which really came to my sphere of being about 13 years ago. 13 years ago? Wow, yeah. He wrote this: "The divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. All instinctively feel this. The truth points to freedom under law. Thus, the inherent nature of man is forever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom. We do well to listen to this inner voice, for it tells us of a life wonderful in its scope, of a love beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom which the soul craves." This whole month, because it's the month of Independence Day, I decided that I wanted this entire month's theme to be freedom of the soul. And this guiding principle for me, that freedom is inherent, I think is really, really, it's so important for us all to really take this to heart. Because anytime we don't feel free, anytime that we feel like we are limited in any capacity, it is up to us and no one else to turn that around. We are free to turn it around in our own minds. And I had an experience this week that was a great reminder. You know, the thing about this philosophy is that we're constantly living the reminders to say, hey, giving us that nudge to get right back on track with spiritual truth. So I had an experience this week that reminded me that I was living in a place of bondage in my own life that I was able to release this week. I was at an event. So the story starts actually last February. I was at an event, and at this event last February, there was someone who, this was in Southern California, but I was introduced to somebody who's in the spiritual community here in Tucson. And at this event, because we're all in the same circle, the person who had introduced us said, this is Reverend Jonathan. He is intending to move to Tucson and open a new spiritual center. And the reaction that I got from this other person was not good. It was a little bit like, hey, you're coming into my territory, you're coming in on my turf. Why, you know, and it wasn't spoken, but it was a feeling that I got from the demeanor and from the body language. It just did not feel good. And so that's what I walked away with back in February. And so when I got here at the beginning of March, I thought to myself, well, that's somebody that clearly is not interested in a new spiritual community. I don't need to reach out, and that's going to be that, and that's fine. So the way this then continues to unfold is I posted the video on our Facebook page, basically talking about my journey of how I got here, the vision and mission of Tucson New Thought. And there was a rather unfortunate comment that came through on that video. You can't go look at it because I've deleted it. And gratefully, Facebook had hidden the comment because there was a rather forceful expletive in the comment. And I looked at that and I thought, well, this is out there and that's okay. I'm not here. Number one, I don't try to please everybody. That would be the worst thing I could do as a minister. I trust that those who are attracted to what I have to offer are going to show up. So I don't force myself out there to try and make everybody show up. But what I did is I deleted the comment and I looked at the person who posted it. I just kind of scanned their page and I saw that they had a common connection with this other person that I met in February. So what I did, because I didn't know how to contact this person who had left the comment, I mean, I could have sent a message, but I didn't think that was... I felt like it might be opening a bigger can of worms. So I thought, well, I'm going to contact this other person from February. And I'm just going to say, just for knowledge, I'm just going to open it up and say, just for your knowledge, this came through and it's reflective of another spiritual community here in town because of their clear association with this other spiritual community. So I called this person, and I'm very purposefully keeping names and identification out of this. So I called this person and I said, I just wanted to have a chat with you about what just happened on Facebook. There's I've deleted the comment and it's fine, but just so that there's an awareness that this is someone who represents a community here. And through the conversation, we came to a realization that this person had some bad feelings about really all spiritual communities because of their association at this community. They were no longer associated with this community. And one of the things that I had posted is, we have an opportunity as a spiritual community to recognize that we can all cooperate. None of us are in competition. I'm not in competition with Unity of Tucson. I'm not in competition with Center for Spiritual Living Tucson. I'm not in competition with Sacred Space. I'm not in competition with any spiritual community. What I want is cooperation. And so we had this beautiful conversation, this person and I came to realize that what I thought had happened in February was only in my own mind, and how quickly we can do that. Just allowing ourselves to come to that place of bondage in our own mind around what we thought was, and not actually being clear into what the actual truth is. And so I was able to release that, let it go, free my mind, and allow a new connection of cooperation with spiritual community in this town. And I trust and know that this is going to unfold in magnificent ways. So it's just that great reminder, we're the ones who are making it all up. Each and every one of us. It's the story we tell ourselves. And we can let that go. We can let that go. We can let that go. And I think we need to start letting it go. Anytime we assume, well, we all know what happens when we assume. But I had made an assumption that kept me in bondage for months and months and months around an idea that I had about someone else. And the minute I actually opened up that conversation from a loving and compassionate place, I was met with something completely different than I expected. And it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So it begs the question for me, for us all, to look at what are the assumptions that we're making? I think we make a lot of assumptions in our daily life. And the more we can strip those away, and strip them away, and actually become transparent and talk to the people about whom we might be making assumptions from a place of love, the more we're going to find that we're freeing ourselves from the bondage of our own minds. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. We are free because we have the capacity to choose. That's what freedom means. And we're making choices in every single moment. In every single moment, we're making a choice. And so are those choices liberating or confining? That's the big question. Are they liberating or confining? I was confined to an idea of what I thought this spiritual community needed to be based on old paradigms. And then I had to remind myself of this idea that you can't get the yes unless you ask. You cannot get the yes unless you ask. And so, on a whim, I contacted Dedicated. And I said, you know what, I need a space to meet because it's important to me that my community starts meeting in person again. The virtual thing is what it is, but it's not very community-oriented. And so I was so pleased to get the yes in that moment when there was no guarantee. Went out on a limb, and I think that we should all be willing to go out on a limb and ask for what we require. It also, because this is such a different environment, such a different atmosphere, we're not in a sanctuary, although we create sanctuary wherever we go because we create the energy of any room we're in. Sort of what I want to end this part of the message with is this. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. I think the more we let go of our preconceptions, the more we open ourselves to grow and grow and grow. And that's really the message. Let go of the limitation. Let go of the idea that we have to conform to any particular idea and simply grow and grow and grow. And that's what I pray for with this community, is that we continue to grow and grow and grow. And if by chance we end up meeting here again or on a regular basis, I don't know, I'm going to open that conversation. Can't get the yes unless you ask. Wherever we are, I trust that we will continue to grow and outgrow spaces because I think that the message of love that we have to share is the most important message there is. So that's my message today. And I'm so grateful for you all being here to hear that message. So namaste. One of the things that, to step away from conformity, I'm going to do something that many ministers, I think, are afraid of doing, and that is this. Do you have any thoughts? What came up for you? Do you have anything that you want to share? And it's okay if you don't, too. I try to be brave.
Well, what really resonated with me was this idea that all these stories that we tell ourselves, and how often we do that with people, and that taking a risk and being brave, and when we're not sure whether the story that we're telling ourselves is true or not, usually it isn't, to be able to go and say that to the people that matter, that we want to connect with, that we want to know, or there's a reason. And when you do go to someone and say, so the story I was telling myself about you or about our relationship was X, gives them an opportunity to say what is true and change. And so you saw that in that situation with this other settler, this other minister, and I just really took that to heart and thought, how could we all this week or this month or whatever, in the coming months, think about people where maybe we are telling ourselves our needs, and how brave it would be to go to them and say, I've been telling this story to myself about you, and what I'd like something different. I'd like a different story. Can you clear that up for me? Or is it true? And maybe they're going to say, yeah, that's really true, and I don't want at least, it can go anyway. It's like you can get a yes or you can get a no, but there's something really freeing for us to let go of the story, even if in the end it isn't, we get the no, or we get the, yep, that was true. We can at least say, okay.
So can I share what happened with us this week? I'm not going to, so we've had a story between us.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That started, about a month ago?
Oh, about my...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it started about a month ago.
Yeah.
So this is my sister, for those of you. Well, I think she introduced me.
Everybody.
So we've had this story.
Yeah.
And you followed up on that story this week.
Great.
And it was an interesting moment because what I recognized in your following up on that story is that you were telling a different story than I was telling. And that your story had a different resolution in it than my story. I thought that we were done with that story, actually. That it was completely resolved, and yet there was something that was not resolved for you.
Yeah.
And once we communicated and were transparent about it, then we got to both collectively come to that place of resolution. And that's what I'm talking about. When we can come to a place of cooperation in our affairs, that it changes everything. And I think we got to let go. We have been raised. Well, yes, we have been raised in a culture of what's the word I'm looking for? Of competition.
Oh, yes. Competition. Yeah.
This is a culture of competition
instead of collaboration.
And I think we need to be willing to let go of the competition and live much more in collaboration. I think that's really a step towards creating a world that works for everyone. And so
we had to go back to each other again and again and keep.
Yeah.
I had to keep asking because I still wasn't clear, and I had to, And my story was like this, and then I had a little change, and it was still not sitting right with me. Yeah. So
I'm trusting we're in.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, we're good now. If it's not complete, then we need to continue to have that conversation.
Yeah. We got it worked out for sure. So and what's so crazy is that it's always like that with the people that you're closest to.
Yeah.
I realized, okay, so I'll tell a story that's like that. So I'm part of this leadership program right now in South Bushes, and we do a lot for weekends and the training weekends. And one is coming up this next weekend. And the story I was telling myself was, so on Tuesday before next weekend, just a couple days from now, there's a big event that has to do with my leadership. We're putting out a big fundraiser in LA. And it's in Sky Space, which is the top of the tallest building in LA, and there's all windows, and there's some kind of crazy grass slide that goes down out of the 70th floor to the 69th floor, wild experience, right? And I'm helping with an auction for it as well. But I can leave my family on Tuesday. That's a lot of time away, and I don't know. That's the story I was telling myself. And so, but then at this meeting, they were saying, well, they need an MC, and somebody was saying, well, I'll do it if somebody else wants to do it, kind of passing the buck. And I'm sitting there thinking, that's my job. I want to do that. I love doing that. It brings so much joy. I've been doing it for here in town for an event every year, and that's my job. And so, but I had the story. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a burden. And so when I got off the phone, I thought, well, I really want to do that. I went and asked everybody in my family. They're like, oh, what do you mean? Go! Like, it'd be great. And you realize how you take on these ideas of your own, of the people that are closest to you, and how you owe them something, or that there's you're going to create some kind of a, I don't know. It was like so vague and crazy, but when they all went, what do you mean? Like, oh, like, of course, that's so exciting. We're like thrilled to send you off. So I'm going. I'm going to be the MC for the giant Sky Space event. And I'm so excited. And if I just kept telling myself that story, like, oh, my family needs me, I really shouldn't, it's not really the right time, all these things, it would have kept me from going. But just by asking, by being brave and saying, what do you guys think? And then for them to go, oh, that's awesome. So I think we all tell ourselves these things all the time that lock us in, to these ideas that are not true, but we live by them because we don't ask.
Yeah. So I think the takeaway then that I'm going to offer is this: is there some place in your life this week where you can recognize that maybe something is unresolved, or maybe there's a little place of discomfort around it, that you can actually take the step towards resolution by approaching it free of fear and with a heart full of love, and actually asking the questions that need to be asked? Can you do that this week? Because if we're providing practical tools for spiritual transformation, there's a tool that you can walk away with this week. Actually taking action in one part of your life. You don't have to feel overwhelmed by maybe if there are many areas. Just one. And open up that question, open up that idea, and have the conversation that needs to be had.
It's a risk.
It is a risk. But
on the other side, you get to go and MC at a Sky Space.
Nothing great was ever accomplished without risk. Nothing great was ever accomplished without risk. And so take a risk this week. That's your job. That's your homework, is to take a risk this week. So let's take a breath. One of the things so as you came in, I'm not going to do a pass the basket or anything. So we do, we're a community that thrives on generosity with respect to the finances of this center and what we're offering in this world. Money is love in action. I used to say, the big quote is money is God in action, but God and love are the same thing. So money is love in action. And it takes money to put love into action. And so we do require, for the purposes of creating community here, money to operate. And so a physical expression of the infinite abundance that we all share is welcome, and I'm grateful to you for whatever you have to offer. There's a basket, and if you'd like to, when we're complete, if you would like to put something in the basket, it is absolutely welcome and received with such gratitude for the love that you're sharing. So we're going to close our time today. I'm going to sing a song. Thank you very much. So I'm going to invite you to simply relax right where you are. And if it's comfortable, you can close your eyes and just be in the experience of the vibration of the music. Allowing ourselves to just be in the here and now. Letting go of anything that's preceded this moment, letting go of anything that we anticipate is to come, just being fully present. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love, so sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. I will share, 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 this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. And so, fully recognizing that each and every one of us is here in our fullest, I recognize and know that there is only one power, one presence, one infinite creative resource for all that exists in this universe, and it is love. And each and every one of us is an individualized expression of love. There is absolutely no separation. We are perfection embodied. There is only good. There is only light. There is only love. So I know that whatever is resonant in our hearts that we walk away with today is put into action in our lives this week. Allowing ourselves to experience more freedom, letting go of any bondage. We are fully free, for we are free to choose, we are free to love, we are free to live in collaboration and cooperation. Knowing this and trusting this, and with a grateful heart, I simply relax, let go, and allow the perfect unfoldment of these words. Knowing that they are law, I let them be so. As together we say, and so it is. I will share, 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 this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love, this love, this love. I'm so grateful for you all being present with me here today and enjoying this experience. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I be on the lookout for where we are next week. Who knows where it'll be? Love to you all. Bye, everybody online.